Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rising Giant Incredible Journeys Behind podcast. Today I have another amazing guest. She's my teammate and my German friend and also a German national team player, Ramona Petzelberger. Ramona, thank you for coming. Thank you for saying yes. It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Took a while, but now here I am.
Yeah, you were waiting for a proper setup.
Yes.
See.
Now we tell him himself.
All right, my friend, you're from Germany, women's football country, I would say. Your league has been one of the best leagues for a long time. But let's just start at the beginning. Whenever you started, why did you start playing football? When you started playing football, how was at that time in Germany?
So I grew up in a family which was and is very sportive. My mom, my grandma, they were teachers of a gymnastics / track and field group, and they also played a lot of ball games, whether it was football, basketball, whatever was there. Volleyball. So I got confronted quite a lot when I was young with different kind of sports, and football was just the closest because my dad was playing, my cousin, my uncle, everyone, my grandpa was playing, so everyone was playing football, and it was just normal. Even though my father wasn't the biggest fan though when I started. After that, he became the biggest fan, but in the beginning, he wasn't that amused, to be fair. But yeah, I think this were the first stages when I started playing football and then went to a boys' team in the age of 5 or 6, maybe, and then continued to do it constantly after.
Did you do gymnastics as a kid?
Yes, and even after as well, until I was maybe 15. Then I had to decide if I want to play football or if I want to stay and doing gymnastics or track and field, / track and field, because it was kind of a mix. But yeah, it was almost professional. Yes,
I think that's the best predisposition you can have for any sport. You know, like gymnastics and track and field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously with gymnastics, you get all sort of a coordination stuff and. With track and field, obviously running, you know, it's part of football as well. Like, so learning to run properly, I think you have a huge advantage over the people who were never doing track and field.
For sure, and also like you get the feeling of your body quite early in early stages. So and not only that it's fun, and you also already learn about like how do you behave in groups, how do you get to know other people, how do you introduce yourself when you are young and stuff, like all this kind of stuff, how you deal with other people. And I think this is also an important fact, plus the physical fact as well, like that you gain muscle mass, like it sounds a bit weird now, but you gain muscles and you gain agility and stuff earlier than just like focus training when you are older. So I think this is quite important, and it's also like a lot of fun, right?
No, yeah, exactly. I would suggest pretty much everyone, you know, to put their kids first in those two sports. My sister, she's a teacher. Like, she used to do gymnastics, not professional. Whenever they ask her, you know, like, because obviously doing gymnastics could be very intense. So they ask her, do you want to do it like 3 times a week or like 5 times a week, and go like, no, being more serious, and she just said 3, and now she's a teacher. So I always say, you know, if I ever have kids, then I would probably first thing they would be doing would be something like that, even if they don't want to play sports afterwards. But it's like it's gaining stuff for the rest of your life. So okay, then you decide for football.
Yes.
You started with girls right away, or you played with boys?
No, I played with boys first until I was maybe 12, I think, 12, 13. So then I had to, because it's the rule in Germany normally, unless you get an exemption. But like this was when I had to stop and move to a girls team. And this was like a local team where I grew up. Plus then I always played on the streets, like whenever I had free time. Of course, like in the cage on the streets with the boys. So it was always used to play with boys. And then at some point I moved to, I moved the club and went to Duisburg. And it was, I don't know if you know FCR Duisburg from before.
I've heard the name.
Like it was a very good club. And they won the Champions League as well. So it was the top club. And I played there for the youth teams, for the girls. And this was the first exposure to women's football or like girls football at this time.
So already at that time, they had the whole pyramid of girls teams or...
Yes. But it was not normal. Like there were not so many clubs that had girls teams. And if then they might have started at like under 17 or under 19. But this club also offered like younger teams to play for the club, for the women, or as women, sorry. But yeah, it wasn't very common though at this time.
Were you competing against boys, like in the league, or if there was not that many women's teams?
No, we had actually a league for girls as well. So from like it was local clubs, but whenever we didn't have a league game, we played against boys, like all the friendlies and stuff. Like everything was always against boys, which was challenging. But I think it's so necessary and important for girls to play against boys, or even better in a boys' team as well. Like especially when you're young, and as long as you can.
No, yeah, obviously we are sharing stories of different paths because we did not have the same path as a boy who just have the entire academy set up. But I think on one hand this is advantage, getting to be with them, to compete with them. It's advantage for us later on. But it's interesting that you said that you were already like kind of in the league with the other women's teams, because I think still in Slovenia, especially younger teams, they still have to be in the league with the boys because there's not that many girls teams. But again, this could be also advantage as well. At what point, you became professional? Because I've heard, and obviously you're going to tell me, but, even though German league was probably one of the best leagues at the time and still is, many girls had to work. How was your path? Did you have to work and then, got to play, or how was that?
Like I was quite young when I played in the first league. So I think I did my debut with 16. And at this time, it wasn't professional, like professional in the sense of that I earned so much money that I could live of it. Like I had to do something else. And I was still doing my Abitur. I don't know if you know. Abitur is like A-level, I think.
Okay.
And I moved to another club in another area of Germany to do like playing professional football, like as professional as it could be, plus doing my school at this time and finish my school and my grades. And this was like when I was 16, the first time that I played in the first league. So, but still after that, probably until I went to England, and this was maybe 10 years later, I had to do something like I worked either in an academy for Bayer Leverkusen in the sports psychology department, or I had to study, or I did everything at the same time. So it was quite challenging because it's like I was never allowed or able to just play football. Now it's the case because things have changed, but before that it was quite demanding, to be fair.
It's crazy. So you're telling me that pretty much you played in one of the best leagues in Germany. I don't know how many times you won like World Cup and stuff as a country, and in the league, you were not able to be professional, to be paid enough to just play football.
It's crazy, especially if you think about like as you say, like how good Germany was, especially at this time. Maybe there were, I don't know, like barely, like a few players maybe, like Birgit Prinz or Bayramay, like Alushi after, who could also live from commercials. But I don't think that a lot of players could play only football and do nothing else. Or afterwards, when they retired, they have to do something else because they can't live from it, from the money that they earned at this time, especially. So I think this is also something that still has to change in Germany, because I don't think that all players are professionals. yeah, I think it's the next step, and this is the basics for women's football and for developing women's football to make it as professional as you can.
Yeah, because I feel like German league is still one of the best leagues, but other leagues are catching up and paying more. And, maybe you have, let's say, 3 or 4 clubs in Germany who are really at the top, Bayern, Frankfurt, Wolfsburg, but the rest is they really have to step up if they want to stay in the competition, I guess.
Yes, for sure. And now you see it, and I think it's a common topic that England is getting better and better, and players that were going to Germany before now go to England because they get better, they get paid better, they have a professional lifestyle, like everyone has to train before 5 p.m. and everyone has to, I don't know, like there are so many rules. What you have to provide as a club as well. I'm not so sure if it's the same in Germany at the moment. Obviously, I haven't played there for a while now, but like they don't have the standard that the English clubs have. It's maybe like Bayern, Wolfsburg, okay, Frankfurt now is coming as well. Maybe some other clubs and some clubs for certain players, maybe, but for sure not in the average for everyone.
But are they even thinking about it?
I think it's something that Germany has to catch up on. And I think they are on it with the federation and splitting the women's part of the men's part. I'm not into I don't know all the details. I think they try to improve stuff, and I think it's necessary also because in Germany, if you want to keep the women's football on track, then you have to do the next steps for sure to be able to compete with other leagues.
No, yeah, and it's such a huge country with a huge history that it would be a shame if you just kind of let go of everything because you're not willing to make more steps.
Yes.
And especially with obviously men's Bundesliga being also one of the best leagues, I don't think the money is the problem if those clubs on the men's side are willing to invest in the women's as well.
Yes, I agree. At the moment, like women's football is still not profit making. So it's kind of difficult to balance as a club and see, okay, how much do we want to invest? How much do we get out of it? Because at the moment it's not a lot. But I think, especially in the UK, like they have recognized that it's a potential market and women's football is growing and it's like the investments are worth it and gonna be worth it. So, and maybe it's also something that the Germans are quite conservative with because you need to invest to get something out of it. And as long as this is not happening, you will step on the same place at the whole time,
Yeah, I mean, definitely right now, women's football is the number 1 growing sport in the world.
Yes.
So I don't know if, I feel like not making a profit used to be a good excuse, but I don't think this is a valid excuse anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think that if over there people are not just, smart in a sense of like, or just becoming more open-minded and stuff, but like just smart from the business perspective. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, even if you don't like women's football in general, like you probably want to make money. Yes. So from that perspective.
And I think also like in women's football, especially in Germany, it's not about the average attendances, like how many people go in the stadium, but it's more about commercials, like sponsorship deals and stuff. And I think now, as I lived in England and I know how it works, like the players are brands, like they are personal brands. And in Germany, I don't see it like this. So maybe 1 or 2 or 3 players that have are their own brands, but like not consistently through the whole national team. And like this is something that the UK or like the English teams are exploiting very well. And I think in Germany, I don't know if it's about the people. Like,
is it culture or
like a cultural stuff?
Question.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's about this.
Do you see that on the men's side though?
In terms of what?
In terms of like, you know, having being a brand as a person. Maybe I feel like, you know, in England that happened because maybe also on the men's side, this is what it was working, and they just like, you know, transferred the model to women. So I don't know if that's the case, and if that's the case, is it in Germany different? Like are even, you know, on the men's side that this is not happening? That's why maybe it's not happening on the women's side.
No, I do think that like players have their are their personal brands in Germany. I do think though that especially like big clubs in England, they attract so many fans, but the fans are a fan of the club and not only from the men's team. And they say, okay, no, you are women. No, I don't support you. So it's more about if you're a fan of a club, then you are a fan of the women's team, the academy, the men's team, and so on. Like, and in Germany, I don't think so. Like, I don't see it like that. Maybe it's coming soon. I hope so, but I don't think that the support is the same if you wear the badge. If you are then a male or female person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see that. Although I do feel like it is getting better. It has to, you know, because if everyone else is getting better, you just kind of pulls you with. And I just saw, I think Frankfurt Bayern played this past weekend, and they had a pretty good attendance.
Yes.
And the cup, I think, it was actually, I think, the second league team.
Hamburg.
Exactly. And they had like 50-something thousand people at the game.
Sold out, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's so good to see that.
Yes.
So
I think it shows the potential that the country has as well. And I think it needs also a lot of marketing and a lot of people who are aware of what they are doing and how they push at which situations and where and stuff. So I think there is potential, and you can achieve stuff like this, but you have to do it on a constant level and not just for like semi-final cup games. But of course, it's a special game. But if you want to attract people in the stadium for league games, you have to do also and invest in marketing and stuff.
No, yeah, but I feel like, you know, once, for example, a person came to that game, the cup game, they had a great experience. For sure, they're going to come back. Yeah, you know, at some point. So I think it is a step forward anyway.
Yes.
All right, so back to you and your journey. Before we go to England, I just kind of want to talk about first of all your youth national team experience. You're a world champion.
No,
European champion.
Yeah.
Okay.
We became second in the World Cup.
Well, it's not bad at all.
Still hurts.
What, 10 years later? Even more?
Even more. So you think about, like, we conceded 1 goal in the whole tournament.
And it was in the final?
This was in the final against America.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's...
I think when you're in it, you don't realize it. And 10 years later, if you think, oh, crazy, you only conceded 1 goal in a World Cup, this is, like, almost impossible. But this then you know the worth of it a bit more, and you appreciate it a bit more. But it didn't help because we just became second. But anyway, back to your question.
You know, but look at those two different perspectives. You know, like you're like, oh, whatever, we became second. Like, it's not a big deal. For me, I would love to just make it to the tournament. Yeah. You know, when you're coming from such a small country, it's a completely different perspective. Like, you know, I've never, even because I'm from the generation where, you know, now our youth national teams, they're playing, you know, like those development tournaments, they're going everywhere. You know, it's such a, like with us, whenever I was a kid, you know, like we just played twice with Croatia and we went to the qualifications, you know, 3 games and that was it. And, you know, we never came to even to play elite round, let alone going to the tournament. So I think both are great achievements.
Yeah, okay. when you look at it like this, then yes. But for Germany, it was always like it was kind of normal. And if you didn't make it to the final rounds, then you were like a bad group age of like, if you were from 92, then everyone was bad and stuff. So, but we were quite, I don't know the English word for it, but like we won a lot. And in those youth categories, like Germany was very dominant, especially at this time. So. Okay, it was a must.
Well, yeah, but okay, so that brings me to another question. Young, but already so much pressure if you think about. How do you deal with that pressure at that age?
Oh, this is a good question. I don't know. I think for me, it always helped when I had just fun. Like when you just could enjoy playing football and you didn't think too much about everything. And I think it's also, of course, it's a matter of if the coach is trusting you and stuff, but also like, how do you approach the things? Like, I don't know. I think I had more problems after, like when I wasn't as young anymore, because I overthought sometimes maybe, or I thought, okay, what could go wrong? And when I was younger, I just thought, okay, let's just win this title and then let's go for it, you know? And I think nowadays probably you have got a little bit more help from the federation, from the team side, from the staff. Like if you have people who support you, mentors or psychologists or mental coaches, whatever, or even coaches if they can deal with you or with it. Not with you. Maybe as well. No, but yeah, I think it just helps if you just enjoy and if you are able to enjoy, however or whatever that means for you as a player, and however you find a way to do it, if you have certain techniques or visualize a lot or whatever. But probably this is the easiest thing, not to think about the bad outcomes more than anything else.
Yeah, it's actually crazy when you think about it. And you already said it. That would be my next question. If, with being older, actually it gets harder than whenever you're younger. You already said that. But it's crazy because technically we have a lot more experience, like you know more, you've been through things, but then it gets harder. At some point, it was actually this year, I said to my mental coach, I said, it's crazy. I've literally been kicking this ball for, 25 years, and now I have anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Never before it happened, but now sometimes when the ball's coming, I'm like freaking out. So it's crazy, and it is like, it's so important, like mental work and everything that goes on in the head.
I think also like women's football is now developing in terms of like more people are watching it. It's more accessible for people and people get more interested in it. And now people play on the big stages. So it's getting bigger and bigger. It's still not as men's football. And I don't want to like be in their position and role. But like there is more potential pressure or like what you could feel a bit more as pressure. So it gets probably more difficult, especially for younger players, if they get approached with difficult situations like this, even when they are younger. So it's even more important, I think, to deal with it and to do more mental work.
Do you think that this is one thing that, those young generations are lacking now? Obviously, because we had to go through, we pretty much had to create our own paths and didn't have support that we have now and those young girls have now. Do you think that this is one area where they're still, lacking maybe that mental toughness or, like that maybe they give up earlier than whatever we had?
I don't know, like I can't judge it that much, to be fair. But it might be the case. It might also be the case that because they don't have anything else but football, they can just dive more into it. Or for some people it might be like, okay, I only have football, so I have to do it and I have to become successful. It can be this or that. Yeah. But I think it's just important that people are willing to work with them, but also if they need something, they are also willing to work with somebody. Yeah.
They're willing to ask and, getting help
as
well. All right. Speaking about that already, what were, some of the biggest obstacles that you faced on your journey?
Well, I think I had a few injuries in my career. So I think because I'm quite a competitive person, or like I want to always do 100% in whatever I do. I like, as I said before, like I studied at the same time, worked and played football. So I did three things at the same time. And for a while it went well because also I was younger. And at some point my body just said, okay, no, stop, not do it like this. And I had kind of a bacterial infection in my gut and so on. And my body was like almost, I wasn't dead, but I was like, it stands still for a while. And I didn't play because of this for a year or so. And then I had to take antibiotics. And
you were still in Germany at that time?
I was in Germany, yeah. I was in Leverkusen at this time. I never made it public or stuff because it was just like, okay, I have to deal with it on my own. But it was like, it wasn't very nice. I was also in hospital with it at the end. And it just affected my whole body with stuff. Because I had to take antibiotics for months, and then you know how it is. It takes ages until you come back, and then your body has to adapt. And I started too early, was too ambitious and stuff. So, I think this was one period of my life where I struggled a bit, because also it was the first time actually where I couldn't play football for so long, and I was never used to it. And, of course you have like, maybe not you, but some people have some injuries in their life and careers. So of course you, get confronted with how it is to not play football, but maybe for 3 weeks or whatever. And if you're out for so long and you see the players playing, and you can't do anything, especially if you love this sport so much, then it's getting difficult. So, this was quite a difficult time, to be fair, because then it took a while until I got really back. And after that had some issues always again, because just my body wasn't ready. Yeah.
How did that change you?
I think I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about also a different type of recovery, but also about nutrition, about sleep, about like all this kind of stuff, which is important, not as a person, not as a player, but also as a person. Yes, and I grew a lot and I learned a lot. Like I worked with some people as well, who just helped me. And I just got more educated, to be fair, because before that I was just playing football and trying to do my best. And then I just learned about like, how can I get better in this area. And like the whole picture made more sense. Yeah.
Would you say that this what happened is now your biggest advantage because of everything that you learned?
Yes, I think it helps me a lot. And it helped me a lot in the past years, not only to deal with stuff, but also like, how can I get better as a player? And what do I put in my body and to what I get out then after? I think it helps a lot. And maybe sometimes you have to go through those experiences, to learn it. And I do think also like that I can help other people as well who don't have the knowledge yet. It's just about like, if you go through it, then you grow through it, more or less.
Do you think that this is what brought you to the next level then? Would you make all those changes, or would you educate yourself the same if this would not happen?
Probably, I don't know. Like, I don't know really, because I think if you just get confronted with it and you have to deal with it, then you do it. And if not, then everything is all right, and you probably don't know how to get better. And maybe you hear something or you read something, or now on Instagram you see a reel and whatever. But no, I think this helped me quite a lot. Yeah.
I feel like, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and for us, in order to grow or to get to another level, some things just has to happen. And whenever it is happening, it's shitty, and it's hard, and you're like, oh my gosh, why this is happening to me? But whenever you're through, and maybe years later, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that this happened, because of this, I'm here where I am right now, and I'm the person, So I definitely believe that.
And I think it's hard when you're in it and when you're stuck in it, but sometimes it's just about like just accepting how it is, even though it's hard, but just accept it, and then you can work with it and you can get something out of it. And at the end, as you say, you look back and say, okay, maybe this was needed for my next steps. But if you're in it, and if you tell, I don't know, a 20 years old who just got injured, okay, you will learn from it. And it was like, oh, come on, but
I want to play now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree.
Okay, I was gonna ask that later on, but since we are already on the topic, I remember when you first came to the club and we started talking, and we instantly connected on the topic of energies and, the thoughts and everything, like frequencies, everything that is behind that material world that we see. Was that the time that, when you got into those things as well? And how do you feel about all of that?
Yeah. So it was a time when I came from Leverkusen and went to Essen, and we had like a performance center partnered with the club, and there was like a mentor, not a mentor, a mental coach, Guido, and he was very much into it, and he tried to teach us a little bit and to help us as well. So, and this was the first time when I learned a little bit about like what does it mean actually to be in the flow and to just enjoy what is happening and stuff. And because in this time, as I said before, like I struggled quite a lot and I just resisted all the time and I couldn't get better. So, and then he just helped me to just let go at some point and just make myself be able to receive or to heal again, because it was kind of difficult if you're in it and you always want something else, especially if you're so ambitious and you have goals and stuff, and just accept it as we were speaking about before, accept it and just letting it go, and then you are able to have another view and to let it go actually, and to let other stuff coming in. So, and this was the first moment I think when I realized, okay, maybe I have to do it to be able to play football at some point anymore. Yeah. And then it's just about like learn. I was interested in it, if I'm honest, and then I just learned a little bit about it more. So
right now, do you have any special routines, anything that you do on like a maybe daily basis or before the games, before the trainings?
Yeah, like I sometimes hear special frequencies, like trances. I don't know how you say it in English. Just to be able to focus again, or also like just to let go, because I struggled and I still do at times just to let go if I'm stressed or if I do have a lot of stuff going on, just to let go. And this helps me a lot with it, to be fair. And I think everyone is different. Some people just read a book and they are fine. Some people meditate, or this is kind of meditation as well. And some people, I don't know, they are fine with everything. But I think everyone finds its own way how to let go. And this is helping me sometimes or a lot, just to get on a certain level, I would say. I just like to come down, or even to if I have anything going on, I just want to visualize some stuff before and think about, okay, what outcome do I want and stuff that I want to achieve. So I think this is quite this helps me quite a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy you're talking about letting go, because it happened in one of the recent trainings actually. I'm also, a person who's constantly trying to improve, trying to do more, demanding a lot from myself. And at that specific training, I said, okay, Dominika, just let go and enjoy. I had the best training in years probably. And I'm not even saying football-wise. I just had fun, and it's crazy what happens whenever you just release. Yes. And this is when actually you can be in the flow.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But this is also something that you have to learn, right? Because it doesn't come like this, but yeah, no, it needs learning and training.
Exactly. It's funny because I said that to my mental coach after, and she's like, well, I've been telling you for years. And I'm like, well, now I got it. Yeah. Everyone, I feel like, everyone has their own timing. You can't force anything. So when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. Obviously, if you work on it. So yeah, I guess that was my timing. Yeah. And now I try to recreate that feeling every single training. I realize that if I'm able to put myself in that position, then it's just, everything else flows. And
I think this is also very important, like as a sports person or a footballer or whatever sports you do, like this, that you're able to let go and don't think about, okay, if I did a mistake before or what happened before or what happened last year or whatever, just be in the moment and just focus on what you can do at the moment. And I think this is key. And if you're able to do it, then you probably have your best performances. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how our brain works because technically we only have this moment. But we're always either in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
But your past is over and the future is only being created from this moment.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the art of just being here and now and present.
True.
All right. So going to somewhere where I'm actually jealous that you were there. There's something that, I would love to experience at some point in my career. I don't know if I'm going to get to, but yeah, playing in England, playing in probably the best league right now, somewhere where I feel like, I don't know, obviously I've never been there as a player, but where the conditions are the closest to being a true professional. So how did you get there? How was there? You played for 2 clubs, Aston Villa and Tottenham, so two huge clubs.
Yeah. No, it was a great experience, to be fair. Like, I've never played abroad before, and it was just like quite a short, like a spontaneous decision. And so more or less, okay, then I just go abroad because I had the offer from Villa at this time. And yeah, I just loved it. I knew a player who played there, a friend of mine. So it made it easier for me to say, okay, I will try it because I knew I had support.
Mm-hmm.
And she played there for a while before, so she knew everything and she told me a lot about everything before. Yeah, and I think the whole 4 years were great. Like, looking back, of course, like I also had a time where it wasn't so good or where it was better and stuff, but in general, like the experience in this league and also learning about the growth of the game at this time, which happened like massively, is amazing. And it is also like Villa as a very traditional club, and Spurs as a big brand are big names, and you can tell like it's kind of like a proud moment if you wear those badges, because there's something behind as well. And yeah, it was a great experience, even though in the beginning it was quite challenging, because I've never been abroad and it's another language. It wasn't my main language. Of course, I learned English in school and stuff, but I didn't speak for 6 years, and not on a daily basis, especially. So learning this and being concentrated all the time, even on the way to training, driving on the wrong side of the road, and not ending up in the opposite on the opposite side, which happened once. But
Really,
but it was lucky. But anyway, yeah, so it afforded a lot of concentration, but constantly, and then trying to understand what people are saying, new environment, new people, which is also always quite challenging if you come into a new club and so on. But also if you then have another language, if you have to find a flat and sort out like the bank account, the car, like the phone and stuff. Like, it was a lot at this time. Handy to say. Yeah, the phone. To say in English here. No, like it was a lot of stuff going on. So I would never underestimate moving abroad, to be fair. You know it. Yeah, playing in Spain. But in general, like, once you settle and once you are able to get used to everything and learn everything, I think it's a great experience. And the league got so good, like especially in those last 2 years when clubs were pushing it, like even like if it's Leicester, if it's Villa, if it's like all the teams that were before not as high in the table, they are pushing for trying to play in the Champions League soon, and everyone is competing, and this league is so competitive compared to other leagues where okay, maybe if I play against the last 3 or 4, the chances to lose are very low. But there you can lose against everyone, you can win against everyone almost, like on a good day you can, even against Chelsea and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So and like the quality of the players is amazing.
No, yeah, I was actually gonna say it feels like clubs are competing amongst themselves, like who's gonna bring better player, who's gonna invest more, which is great. And probably everything, like from the pitches to I don't know, all the training facilities and everything, it's probably great as well.
Yeah, the facilities are amazing, to be fair. Like, for example, in Tottenham, we had a training pitch, and depending on where we played on the weekend, if it was like a stadium, when we played in a stadium, in the men's stadium, so the pitches are bigger, or depending on where we played, like they could adjust the sizes of the training pitch, for example. Like this is something, I don't know how many clubs do it.
Oh, it's crazy.
All this kind of stuff. And I think those clubs, they have the resources, also the clubs I played in, they have the resources to invest or to be able to control as much as they can, whether if it's how quickly you eat which food, like a good food after a match or after training. So, for example, in Tottenham, we had a chef on the way back in the bus, and she was cooking for us, or they prepared the food before and heated it up, and then we had food straight, 30 minutes after the game when we went into the bus and had warm food, like warm, fresh,
like a proper
meal, and not just
pizzas.
Yeah, not just pizzas, or not that we ordered something which arrived, an hour and a half later or whatever, and it was good food. Like all those 1%, if you are able to do them, and if you have the resources to invest, then I think you are doing it very well, and you can do also the next steps if you are able to control as much as you can to deliver good performances. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I think I watched the documentary of Chelsea, and how they actually had a meeting. Emma Hayes had a meeting of okay, what can we improve? And it's crazy details.
Yes.
And I think that we deserve, after so many years of just investing, I think we deserve to experience that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that even though you have sometimes good facilities, doesn't mean also directly that you have the best work or the club is working very well. So I think it also depends on which people are working there. And at the end, it's always about the people. For example, we when I played in Essen, we didn't have the best facilities, and the setup and the structure wasn't very professional. But the people who were working in the club and all the players, they were so professional that they just made the best out of it. And we achieved stuff with low budget and but high effort from us and from everyone. And compared to, big clubs as well, if they have the money and have the resources, but they don't put it into action due to, personnel, to quality of personnel or experience in women's football or whatever factors may be, then it's simply also not good. So I think you have to find a good balance, or you have to have a good balance. And best case, you have good facilities, good possibilities, and also good people in.
No, I think that's definitely one of the biggest things, that if you want to have results, you have to find the right people and put together the right team. Because nowadays, especially those clubs, they can buy pretty much anyone, but buying anyone doesn't necessarily mean I just bring all the best players together, because maybe those best players are not going to work together.
Yes.
So creating a team of, where individuals are great, but then at the same time they can work as a group, I think that's the magic. And then obviously also managing that group.
Yes, for sure.
Because obviously with a lot of high level players, it needs to be a high level management as well, if you want to keep all of them, happy and together.
I agree. And I think this you can see also in, I don't want to say one club, but in certain clubs in the Premier League or in the WSL as well, they have a great squad. They brought in so many good players, but if it's either not well managed or it doesn't fit together because of egos, because of personalities, then it just doesn't work. So, and then you can have the best name, the best brand, the best facilities, but it won't work then. So, yeah, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, and on the end of the day, football is still your main product, so you have to be winning.
Yes.
Especially there in that league, if you want to stay on the top.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Would you go back?
Yes, I think so. Also because like for your personal development, and I mean like now football-wise, I think it's so good because you always have to be at your best. If you're not at your best, either you're not playing or you get beat in games. Everyone has to be at their best every single weekend because you play against so good players and you can't just afford not to be at your best. And like also from a personal perspective as well, because I think it's for your personal. Now we're back to personal brand, but if I always say, but in England, I think it's just a little bit more. It just grows a little bit more, and it helps if you play in this league as well. But yeah, I think I would go back probably, but I'm probably a bit too old now.
I mean, like, never say never. You never know. But yeah, I think, just as a country, England, it's a football country. And I feel like it's probably a great time to be around where all that, hype from the men's side is going to the women's side as well.
And it's so crazy. Like, there was once, I don't know if it was United playing in Wembley or I don't know, or could be that it was like from the Lionesses, that England had a game. And they were just like normal people who also would go to the men's game. They were wearing a mask from Ella Toon or like not only jerseys, but also other kind of stuff.
Faces.
And like they were really fans. And this is so amazing to see because back to 10 years ago in Germany, for example, nobody would care. Like maybe they would watch it on TV or whatever, but barely somebody would buy a T-shirt unless you are a girl and you look up to this player. Like, I mean, a kid with a name. But this is just amazing to see that people get into it and get invested in football and in women's football and into those games as well.
No, yeah, it's. I think it's crazy. It started whenever, like the World Cup, 2019, I think, in France, and now it's escalating. Like especially in England, it's crazy, which is great because this pulls every other country behind.
And I think also it's very important that you have access to it, like that you can watch all the games on YouTube. So people from all over the world can watch those games. And this product is just getting more and more interesting for everyone. And YouTube, once you click on one, you get the next one and you get the next one. And then now you get content from this team and stuff. So it's just like, it's adding up. And I think this is also important for other leagues to be able or to make it visible and approachable as well. You make the players visible and that you just show what's going on behind the scenes, and also that people are able, especially from other countries, also to watch those games.
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely leaders in all of those perspectives now. Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly liking the context also, like from Lionesses, and because I feel like they're leading, everyone else is following, but it's great because they're really opening up the doors for everyone.
Sure.
All right, so you're studying.
Yes.
What are you? You're back to school.
Yes.
What is it? Why did you decide to do it?
So I do a diploma in sporting directorship in football.
Look at you.
Look at me. Yes. It's interesting. No, I do like it a lot. It's just very demanding, to be fair. But I was always interested in what is happening behind those closed doors in football clubs as well. Because when you're on the pitch, you see the one side and you don't see what's happening around or behind and why certain decisions are made and stuff. And I do like a lot, like building an identity of a club, and like, for example, Hoffenheim at the time, or Leipzig or Barcelona, like the best example for it as well. They have a clear identity and clear values, and it goes through the whole club. So, and this was what I was always interested in.
So building a culture, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of this, because I've also experienced how it shouldn't be or how it doesn't work. So, Yes, and I don't know like how it came, but I just saw that the PFA was offering this course, and it was very interesting. And now it's a 2 years diploma where you like study and learn with a lot of former and now still active pro professionals, footballers. So I have quite a lot of professionals in my club in my my course as well.
You already own a club.
I already own a club. See, Italian. Yeah. So, and it's very interesting also because you just open the doors and you make new connections. You learn, you get to know new people, and make good connections in the business as well, and learn from really experts of the game, which makes it even more interesting. Yeah.
Have you ever considered coaching?
Yes. I did.
But
I don't know if I want it because after I don't know, as a coach, you always, you don't have free weekends. You always have to travel as well. I mean, whether you end up in football, probably then
you still have to do it.
Still have to do it. But as a coach, I don't know. Like I'm so interested also like in the tactical parts and stuff we are speaking about a lot because I'm interested in the game in itself. But I don't know if I want to coach. I haven't decided yet, so I have to think about it a bit more.
But, I think obviously coach is the one who's creating a culture or identity or whatever. But if you're even more higher up, I think it's even easier, because then you get to pick the coach. Yes. And also as a sports director, I think you still have to understand football.
Yes, I agree.
So I think all of those things come together. No matter what you're going to decide to do, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. Let's see where I end up.
But okay, going back to your playing career, and okay, maybe I'm gonna ask that from not just playing career, but in general. What are your dreams? And what do you still want to achieve as a player? So both questions.
Well, it's a difficult question. I think I still want to achieve that I'm able to play football and totally enjoy it, because I think this is the foundation of everything. And with that, things are just evolving. And this is for me the most important stuff at the moment, because I've seen a lot in Germany. I've seen a lot in England. There was always kind of a bit pressure that made for yourself, but not always in a bad way, also in a good way. But I just want to be able to just enjoy football as it is, because I think then you fulfill yourself the most. So this is from a sporting perspective, probably. And with that, I don't know what comes with that then. But I think this is the most important thing for me.
I feel like the older we get, the more we go to that side of just, having fun and enjoying it. Yeah. This is exactly why we started to play. And it's interesting how throughout your career, you just kind of get like consumed with that, like achievement of a certain name of a club or certain, trophies and stuff. And it's so easy to be pulled out of that enjoyment. At some point I realized I haven't had fun for years. But in order, to be the best version of yourself, to play your best football, you have to have fun.
Yes.
So
I agree.
It's crazy. Before I ask you the last question, you were part of the national team, German national team, senior national team. How is being part of, such a high-ranked national team? And did you enjoy it? Was that something that, dreams come true? Like a lot of pressure? How?
Yes, it was a dream come true, to be fair. I remember the moment when the coach called me, because I was at my sister's home. I had 2 days off because it was international break. And I flew back to Germany, and then I just put my phone away because I just wanted to enjoy time.
You were in England at that time.
Yeah. And then I looked back at my phone after, 2-3 hours, and I had so many calls and messages and I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I saw her message, and then it was just so nice. and I was overly happy. But then once I came there, I knew how it was from the youth national teams, so it was quite strict always. But when I came there, it wasn't as strict. But I thought, okay, every meeting I have to be there 15 minutes before. Not as now anymore. But
I was gonna say, well, you did not keep that habit.
What happened to me? No, 15 minutes ish. No, yeah, but like it was like I thought everything matters. Whatever you do, it matters. So in the first moment, I couldn't really enjoy it, but after that, because I knew so many people, it was just like, okay, just go out and just play a bit football, and whatever happens, then it happens, But it was then, I remember also, like, I can't even say it, but I didn't have my my shoes with me and my football boots.
Ah, because you left them in England.
I left them in England. So, and they gave me shoes, but they were too big. And I played the first training session or 2 training sessions with shoes that were not my size. So, and I don't know, like
in the German national team.
In the German national team. Yeah, you can't even say it, but it's a bit embarrassing. But yes, in the end, like it was just still good. And if you are in it, you just go for it, And I think also the one thing is that you maybe feel a bit more pressure when you are representing your country and when you are with or wearing like the German national team badge. But also, on the other hand, you have so many players around that and that make it more easier for you. And this is when, this is what just helps you so much. If you know, okay, I'm in an environment where I can be myself, where I don't have to be anyone else and please anyone else, just be yourself. And then, as we said also before, like then you can just let go and be yourself on the pitch as well.
Whenever I spoke with Lauren Holiday, who is obviously ex-US national team player, we spoke about the very high intensity environment there, and it's pretty much, like to the point where like you either do or die, kind of moment every single training. I'm assuming that German national team, with the history and so many great players that you have there, it's similar. How is it, just on one hand trying to win your spot in the starting 11, but on the other hand being, just having fun and enjoying the moment?
Yeah. I think you have this mentality, especially as well in Germany, and every single player who is there like has this mentality throughoutly. So it's very intense, and you have to fight for your spot, but still, on the other hand, don't lose the joy of the game for yourself. So I think it does help if you have players around that you know and that think the same way that you do and act the same way as you do. Yeah, but it's also like it's challenging because you want to get new call-ups, you want to make it and get games and stuff. But on the other hand, it's still a game and you just play football. So you have to find the balance always.
Yeah, and I feel like me personally, I think I would love to be in that kind of environment where everyone is very professional, because unfortunately I feel like many times still in the club, especially if you're not in England, or really top clubs around the Europe, you still have players who are, their mentality is not very professional. So I feel like, I would also love to experience that environment at some point, even if it's harder to then get your spot on the starting 11, but just I think you can enjoy a lot more when everyone is giving their absolute best every time.
For sure. And it makes you better as a player as well. If you have players around that make you better on the pitch as well and that demand more from you, and you can't afford just to just walk all the time or don't do your job very well. So for sure. And especially if you have this constantly, whether if it's in the national team, if it's in the club or whatever, then you can just only get better.
Exactly. Would you say that was like the highest achievement of your career, playing for the national team?
Yeah, I think so. But still, I don't know, I enjoyed the time in England as well a lot, because not a lot of players from Germany go to England. So it's something that is at the moment quite rare.
Mm-hmm.
experiencing this. And also like we played constantly like or regularly in front of thousands of people in big stadiums. So, and this is something that hopefully is now happening in Germany as well more often. But I think this is also, if I would have thought about it when I was 16 or even younger or whatever, that I would play in a sold out Emirates, then I would say, okay, you're crazy because it's so far away, but then it happens and you play in Wembley, which was 80,000 people or I don't know, 75,000
What
people.
kind of experience is that?
Yeah.
What feeling is that? Can you even, put it in the words?
No, it's just, I think if you're in the moment, you don't think so much about it because you're so focused. But afterwards, when you think about it or when you look at pictures and how crowded it was and if people are cheering for you when you come out of the hotel, like this is crazy. And yeah, I am a little bit proud of it, but at the same time, this was also a trigger for me. How can I get better and how can I live this moment more often? And how can we, I don't know, next time be able to win those games when there's our home crowd or whatever, like all this stuff that makes you also better for the next games as well. Yeah, so I think this is also an achievement. I wouldn't say, okay, the call-ups for the German national team were the highest achievement because also like I experienced those kind of stuff
Moments,
which is also very nice. Yeah. And I think also like if you have, it also depends on who you are with at this time and who's also living this moment. And if you have players that you really like that are friends of yours, then you appreciate those moments maybe a little bit more because you also go back to the moment and think about the people around and not just about yourself.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. All of those are special moments. And actually, I just spoke with someone actually a few days ago, what a privilege that is. She was saying she's actually a referee in German league. And she was saying, I'm refereeing men's also, and I'm refereeing in those huge stadiums. And the other day I got to bring my younger brother with me. And, he was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the locker room of that men's team, let's say Bayern Munich. I don't know which one was it, but, can I really step on that pitch, And then you really, step outside into perspective and oh my gosh, not that many people have a privilege of actually just stepping on the Wembley, on the grass. Yeah. And you have a privilege of playing in front of full Wembley, which is amazing experience. But yeah, I agree with you that whenever we played with the national team in the full stadium, it was just 24,000 people in Netherlands or now 20,000 people in Turkey. Mm-hmm. In that moment, you're not even I saw everyone. I couldn't hear my teammates, but in the moment you don't think of that. Whenever it's done, you're like, oh my gosh, we really just played in front of that crowd.
Because it's your job at the end as well, no? So then you're just in it and you just try to do your best. And this is why where you worked for to be in this moment at this time. But then afterwards, probably when you, I don't know, when you tell your kids about it or whatever, then it will be, you will appreciate things a bit more, probably. Maybe crazy without kids.
So yeah, you definitely got to live your dreams, and you're still doing that. So what would you say to someone who is afraid to pursue the dreams or even to have dreams? And it doesn't need to be football, in general.
Mm. So first of all, dare to dream. And then I think you have to break down your dreams a bit to your goals. You can have a dream, but this is quite far away. And you have to break it a bit down maybe to having goals, like short-term goals, also long-term, but maybe short-term, and then see, okay, how can I achieve them? And how can I get to this? And this means, okay, what actions do I need to implement? What daily actions do I maybe need to implement? And that it gets a habit for yourself or of yourself. So I would just say, dare to dream, do it, but then commit to it. But also on the other hand, have the discipline and have the consistency to pursue them. So, and this means then daily habits. This means weekly habits. This means achieving short-term goals and stuff. And then at the end, success is unavoidable. I mean, and I would say you will have failure. Like you will fail. You will have setbacks. You will sometimes go off the road. But at the end, this is part of the process. And it is necessary sometimes. And it's unavoidable. So it's just about like how you approach it. And if you're aware of it, you can just learn from it. I mean, this is now philosophical, but it is how it is. You know, if you don't fail, then you don't learn.
Exactly.
At the end. So yeah, go for it.
So pretty much have a dream, transfer or transform that into a plan and, and a journey, and you can do anything you want to do if you believe. Yes. Ramona, thank you for coming today. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for being a great teammate, for saying yes, even if we had to reschedule many times, but now we got to do it in a lot more professional setup. So I'm actually, everything works out the way is the best all the time. So thank you. Thank you for being here, and obviously I wish you great rest of the career, and then I'm sure that you're going to transform the football world, women's football world even more. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Well, I'm glad.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.